Today, I wanted to take a look at one of the latest articles, pages covering the mystery of the Kenny Veach case and M Cave. I'm going to be reading it today, sharing my thoughts, analysis, and reaction to it to see if there's any new information that's come on out which has never been seen or heard before, and if not that, check for any inconsistencies or regurgitated stories and narratives which aren't exactly true. Welcome to those that are still here watching and those who may be returning back to this case. It appears in recent time that, in general, the talk and coverage has heated up because of other bigger channels out there covering it, which I guess is refreshing and positive. And, smaller channels too, credit to them if they do their own coverage. But right now, let's focus on in and see this new article. The title of this reads, "What happened to Kenny Veach, the YouTuber who disappeared after finding an M-shaped cave near Area 51? Now, as we've seen time and time again, they keep saying that the cave is near Area 51. The land near to military, but the true Area 51 base, that's many miles away, more so north. Subheading here, the truth may forever lie just beyond our grasp. It's interesting how Omar states that. Omar, if you do a bit of research, you might be closer to the truth yourself. But let's just move on here. We've seen like a thumbnail or picture like this before. 2014, Kenny Veach, 47-year-old YouTuber and avid solo hiker. It's interesting how to use the keyword YouTuber. Kenny Veach wasn't a typical YouTuber. He uploaded videos to his channel, but he's not like the YouTuber you would think of. I think people just use the term YouTuber because it's easy, because it's a keyword which pops, just like Area 51, even if it's not directly relevant to the situation. Nevertheless, claimed to have discovered a strange M-shaped cave near Nevada's Nellis Air Force Base. No, not near to the base, but more so the test range and military land in general. The actual Nellis Air Force Base is just on the outskirts of Las Vegas, closer to Frenchman Mountains. Okay, but I guess this is an indirect quote from how Kenny Veach worded it in the past on one of his YouTube comments. Recommended videos, Hulk Hogan. We don't need to know that at the moment. Kenny Veach first claimed the M-shaped cave on YouTube, yes. Reported feeling a strange, possibly vibrational sensation as he approached the cave. And it's not just Kenny who's felt vibrations when out there hiking about. Jeff Clark, key person within the case, has felt vibrations too, but in different areas. That's what makes it unique. You start feeling vibrations. Is that similar to what Kenny Veach experienced? And if there's a similarity, could there be a similarity in the location? As hard as it might be to believe. But it's also unique because besides Kenny and besides Jeff Clark, who else has felt vibrations out there? It's quite a significant event, isn't it? Because it's only a couple of people that get that sensation. Why is that? Are some people more in tune than others? Is there a place and a time for it to occur? Or just the location? Or a combination of factors? Nevertheless, in Kenny's case, so intense, the vibrations, it frightened him away. It wasn't just the vibrations, I think it's because he wasn't quite prepared. He wasn't armed at the time, how it was worded. He didn't have a firearm with him. Because when he first came across the cave, he wasn't looking for it. He wasn't anticipating it. He was just on a hike. But it happened. But then after, when he went back again, and then again afterwards, supposedly, it just wasn't as successful. When you're trying to get something, when you want something to happen, it doesn't seem to. Right? It's typical, isn't it? But the timing of it all. So this comment piqued the curiosity of his audience and others who urged him to revisit the site to explore the cave further, motivated by these requests. It wasn't just out of general curiosity or the people online giving him an energy boost. There was also a combination of resistance, people calling him out. So there's that to take into mind. It says Veach planned a return trip to locate and explore the cave. He documented his preparations and intentions in a video posted on his YouTube channel where he discussed his previous experience, what he hoped to find. His video conveyed a mix of excitement and apprehension about the upcoming journey. Apprehension? Maybe how he was talking and describing the distance. I mean, how it's worded so far, this article, is fine. Late October 2014, Veach set out on his hike into the remote area. Well, supposedly he did. It would have been uploaded, I believe, in October, but as for when it was recorded, it would have been earlier. You're not going to record and then edit and then upload all in the same day as the hike. No, there's going to be a time difference to settle down, to get back home, to relax, to heal if you are injured or sore. Right? Anyway, Kenny was equipped with standard hiking gear, pretty basic, wasn't he? Not fully equipped. Was alone on this venture. Well, it appeared to be, but in his video footage, you could hear some additional footsteps at times from the audio. There was also almost like paranormal voices or whispers down Pitcher Canyon way. And even at the start of his video near to the mine shaft, there appeared to be like a weird sound or some kind of female laughter, right? Now, if Kenny Veach wasn't alone and he was with someone, why would he be hiding it from the camera? Privacy? Just seems a bit of a stretch in a way. Why would you go to such lengths? But then again, you can argue and say, why do people go to such lengths and depths in the desert area when altering the environment, moving rocks about and, adjusting stuff? Yeah, you can question it there as well. When he failed to return, concerned family members reported him missing, prompting a search and rescue operation. Right. This is a problem. They're implying here that late October, Kenny went out to hike, failed to return, and then prompted search and rescue. That's incorrect. Kenny went out at some point October to do his hike. You see the video on his channel. It was November 10th, 2014, when Kenny Veach went out there supposedly one last time and did not return back, and was reported missing by the girlfriend about 7-8 days later. Okay, so this article has completely messed up with the dates and months. In October, Kenny did go on the hike and returned back safely. Then he went out again, November, did not return. Let's move on. Despite extensive search efforts by local authorities, volunteers, including aerial searches, ground teams, combing the challenging terrain, no conclusive evidence of Veach's whereabouts were found. His whereabouts, there was hints, evidence, indications that around the mine shaft area, somewhere there. It didn't go on any further, unfortunately. As you see, the cell phone near the mine. Clue did not lead to his discovery. True. Harsh, vast landscape, yes, combined with the limited information about his exact route or route, significantly hampered the search efforts. The scent ended near to the mine shaft. If it went beyond, who knows where that could lead to. But we had heard hints prior to his disappearance, with Hunter Veach text message conversation saying, I'll hike north, and if I don't find a cave, I'll continue on for 45 miles. It looks like the search and rescue team never looked into that or took it into consideration. That's if they were even informed about it, right? Veach's disappearance, you see the video there. There's the problem, there are some people within not the community, but strangers that will see the M Cave hike video and assume that this particular hike was the one he went missing on, typical lost footage, moments before disaster. That's not the case. The video that you see on his channel was a successful hike, a safe return. The hike he went on, where he went missing, wasn't documented, supposedly, right? But there was a missing camera from his house, so likely taken, but for what reason? The most likely scenario considered by many is that Veach may have fallen victim to the natural dangers of the desert environment, such as falling into a mine shaft or succumbing to dehydration or exposure. Dehydration exposure, you could understand that in a general setting, especially with Kenny considering he had limited resources, limited water intake, etc. But We've not seen any bones, not seen any bodies, not enough evidence to say that he's out in the desert area. Not really any clues or hints to say he could be covered, concealed. Not really. So some speculate that Veach, who had openly discussed struggles with depression in his videos, might have taken his own life, even though there is no hard evidence of that. It's just a narrative people like to associate with because of the mental health bandwagon and it being a trendy subject, and people are more likely to believe in it because it is a real life problem, psychological issues. And when it comes to Kenny Veach, supposedly he did have psychological issues, but there is absolutely no hard evidence of suicide. No bullets, no blood, no bones, no fragments, etc. Okay? And when you base it off Kenny's behaviour, the text conversation with Hunter, oh, I've got a surprise for you, I'll show it when I get back. He intended on returning back from the looks of it, just off that. The fact that Kenny taking a firearm out with him, to end one's life, but he's taken firearms out with him before that. So for personal protection, you could see it that way too. And a missing camera from the house. Why would a suicidal person need a camera when out and about? They're not going to look at those photos after or show them to anyone. Weird. And why would you even take your phone to begin with? Just drop it off whilst you're out there so no one can trace and track you. Too late. People have traced and tracked you up to a certain point at least. You truly don't want to be found. You do not take your phone with you in the first place. If you have no purpose for it beyond or after, then you just don't take it at all. So, kind of rules out that bit. Anyway. Says, however, no definitive evidence supports this theory. Thank God it's worded like that. This article has done something right. You know, the typical regurgitated story, but luckily here, they're saying there's no evidence that truly supports it, because that's true. A few believe the YouTuber might have chosen to disappear intentionally. You never know, right? There's some evidence material to suggest it. However, Veach's girlfriend, Sharon Pilgrim, stated that she believes he died by suicide. Now, not that he intentionally disappeared, but Sharon was also claiming to have reported Kenny early, but it was actually 7 to 8 days later, so who can you trust and believe in, right? Given the proximity to Area 51 and Veach's description of the cave, some theories propose supernatural elements or government cover-ups. These are largely fueled by the mystique of Area 51 and lack concrete evidence. Adding to the intrigue is the fact that the M-shaped cave Veach sought has not been definitively located since his disappearance. This has led some to question whether the cave ever existed at all. The only thing that can be said with certainty is the famous YouTuber has now been missing for 9 years without a single trace of his ultimate fate. But in between, there has been a bit of evidence material here and there to suggest his whereabouts or him being caught on camera, activity online. But, you know, no research done, no credit, typical, but what you expect is what it is. Anyway, the bit about Kenny being classified as the famous YouTuber, he's not exactly a famous YouTuber in that way, or at least at the time of whatever happened to him, he wasn't famous. You know, that's not to downplay the situation or to be negative, it's just being realistic. You know, you get other stories in life where, this YouTuber with 2 million subscribers suddenly went quiet, went dark, off the radar, radio silence. Okay, right, in the moment. Kenny Veach at the time was a smaller channel. The only reason why he got big is out of the tragedy. And I'm not saying that he's benefited from the tragedy, but people, would you say, only care about Kenny now because it's too late? Indirectly. People take an interest to Kenny now when it's too late. I came across Kenny's channel because of the case itself. I'm not emotionally connected to the case, but I find it very interesting and spooky. Like Jeff Clark, specifically with the cave, intrigue, wanting to solve it, see it for oneself maybe, debunk, reinforce, whatever it may be. For me, myself, it's the cave and the situation with Kenny, the rural, desolate area. You look on my channel for the last few years covering Dylan Round's case, Christine Passay Parker, missing person, Noah Presgrove in recent time. It's all in rural areas. That spooky atmosphere, how open it is. You think it's very clear to see everything around you, and yet still things could be concealed, masked with darkness in the atmosphere, within the ground, the sky. Who knows? Now, as for whether the cave truly exists or not, I mean, hikers have been out there and they haven't found the cave, but there have been many M-shaped looking caves, which may not fill the full characteristics of Kenny's description, but, you know, there's hope that there could be something out there. And with the likes of Jeff Clark seeing the odd M-shaped cave, which most hikers failed to see or come across, there's always that small chance of there might still be unfinished business out there. Okay? When I look at missing person cases of other scenarios, where you're trying to trace the person and find them, and then in the end it tends to be like a really basic situation of, oh, did you not look over there, which was only a few meters away, a few centimeters away. I'm not saying that every case and mystery turns out to be as simple when at first for some time it was more complex or seen as deep when it wasn't. With the Kenny Veach case, if you look at simple aspects there, well, parking area to mine shaft, well, no indication now, or clue. Beyond, no clue there either. What vanished into thin air? I mean, I'm surprised this article didn't mention the talk about UFOs, kidnappings, military involvement. This article was pretty limited. How it was worded at first, quite good, but then stating Kenny going missing in October, that's misinformation, that's incorrect. But yeah, it's okay. You could argue and say it's a little bit disappointing that by now, you know, after this time, some don't do additional research and make the extra points, or even just like updated theories. You don't even get that on these media pages on bigger channels. And yeah, why not? Okay, you bring in more people to talk about that theory. It could lead to possible conclusion or a new lead, you never know. But nevertheless, hopefully you found this video a little bit interesting, and just the general story of things. If you are new, if you come from other communities watching recently and now you've been introduced to this, you can always check my playlist out on my channel for more videos and in-depth coverage. But thanks for your patience. I might see you next time. Goodbye for now.